Good morning. Hi, it's Lindsay here. Welcome to my quarter past arts and crafts. This is basically where I give myself 15 minutes a day, which is all the time I can manage to find to just talk about the things that I have been crafting on. So, besides my work that I do, which takes up most of my time now, I love textiles. So that means that I love to knit. I spin, I weave, and sew, and dye, and I process raw fleeces into spinnable material. And I am just interested in learning all that I can possibly learn about the textile craft. So making clothes, accessories, home decor, blankets, you name it. I want to learn how to make it. So I've brought some stuff that I've just been working on the past couple days and my mass pile of baskets. I first saw these at Ikea and I mentioned to my boss that I really liked them, and so she picked me up at this big full amount of baskets. I'm very grateful. So I just want to go over a few things. It is Christmas knitting making madness at my house right now. I sat down and wrote out my list of what I wanted to make everybody, and it's a long list and I don't know how I'm possibly going to get done. So I may just have to decide that socks should be hats, because a pair of fingering weight socks versus a bulky weight hat, that's one evening versus several hours longer more of knitting, so we'll see. But I'm going to show some of these Christmas gifts here, and I just won't say who they're for. That way it'll still somewhat be a surprise, and I really don't imagine that anyone, maybe my mother, but I haven't even told her about this recording yet, so I don't know. So I've got a shawl here. This is the Merinda shape. This is where I first came across this shape. I did notice something on Ravelry a while ago about how Martina Bem was, I think, the person who came up with this shape originally. And then people have just done, their own variations on things, which really, I'm so fine with that. That's exactly what I'm doing. I realized that this shawl shape I find to be one of the most wearable for me right now. That's partly because I bike and transit everywhere, so something where I can, live needles, don't get those in my eyes. I can wrap it around me and tie the ends and just have it really stay snugly put and not have to fiddle with it at all. It's really nice to be able to do. So I've knit, I've knit, I think maybe 5 or 6 of these now, and I have yet more to be done. I would like to knit a lace weight version of this. Right now I'm actually knitting a worsted weight. I should tell you more about this. This is out of worsted weight. So the pattern is written for a fingering. I think it's with 3 skeins, but I'm using 5 skeins of a worsted weight. And this is the concept by Katia Lagom, I think is how you pronounce it. And so this is a extra fine merino cotton blend. I think there's a little bit of nylon in here, I think. Anyway, but it creates, I really like the fabric. I like the feeling of it a lot. It feels warm yet light, and the cotton makes it have this, I think, a really pretty drape. So I don't know what the colors are. I did not bother to write that down, but I can tell what they are from the website. So maybe I should write a little note for myself under this video just so that I remember. But I very much like this darker gray that I striped in through here. So I brought a little bit more of that to knit a sweater with. So. And so, okay, I'll show you these baskets really quickly. So they start out kind of looking like a bowl, and then you can pop them open, and there you go. boom, basket. Now, I've seen these on this sort of style basket at a lot of places, and I guess depending on how it's made or the materials it's made with, it can be more or less expensive. But from Ikea, they were, I think, $15. So I know nothing about this product and where it comes from and how it was done, but it's been so useful. I have not been wanting to buy more plastic bins for my yarn, so I'm basically just stacking these all over the house. Okay, so a little dyeing experiment that I did over the weekend at my parents' basement suite, for the time being anyway, is my little place to store all my dyes and my dye pots, and I get to kind of go on a little trip to the dye studio to go out there and work on a few things. So I got the chance to go over there over the weekend, and firstly, my friend Emily, hey Emily, thanks for watching my podcast. Emily sent me these skeins of, these are woolly Mammoth Fibres, and in her natural sock. So this is a sock yarn that is specially made so that it doesn't have any nylon, and they just kind of really make it super twisty, and hope that's going to make it more durable. So these were already dyed when I got them, and so they were a more purple color, much more purple, kind of a lilac-y purple. And so this one was more bright, this one was more toned down, and we both felt like, oh, I'm not sure if those are exactly what we had in mind for ourselves. Her and I are more into the gloomy looking things, I think. So I just dipped them in some iron, and iron really does tone down and kind of give a grayish brownish sort of tinge to things that are naturally dyed. And it's very interesting to me because it might be the pH of our water, it might be something that has to do with I don't know, the hardness, softness of our water, but it turned both of them slightly a shade of blue, which really I really love, because I am in love with this particular shade of grayish blue. And so I'm really, really happy with that. And so this is not like a dig on the dyer and being like, oh, I didn't like what she did. You know, it's just, it wasn't exactly what we saw on screen. And sometimes that happens, and that is no fault at all of the dyer. That's nothing against her. I know that it's really hard to accurately color capture, and there's no way to capture color, and there's no way to guarantee that everyone's monitor is going to be calibrated the same. Just the way of the world. And so me modifying it isn't, a poo-poo on woolly Mammoth Fibres. I absolutely love everything that this dyer does. She is incredible to me. The business she has built and the relationships with the mills that she has established. Kudos to her. And I consider this to just be a little bit of my little touch on her beautiful work and yarn. So I hope that's okay with everybody. It certainly is okay with me. Okay, so after that, I have got some, this is just plain old Merino. Just seeing how non-superwash yarns handle dye. So I first dyed these with, I don't know, they were a baby pink. I think it might have been an exhaust of a dye bath that I was working on. So maybe something with, I don't know, could have been sequoia or lac, I think was the last thing that I worked on. Anyway, they were baby pink. And I've got nothing against baby pink, but I don't have any of that color in my wardrobe. And it's not the most wearable color for me. And I'm not sure I'm even going to keep this color, to be honest, but I preferred this coppery, pinky color far more. And it is, to me, it's quite flesh toned, but it's got this sort of, when you actually can see it with your eyeballs, it's got this nice glow to it. And so I've been thinking about just keeping it as is and pairing it with one of the mass amounts of alpaca silk that has recently migrated to my home. Once 2020 hits, it'll all make sense why so much yarn has come into my house recently. It all has projects. There are plans for all of it. That's how I justify it to myself. Okay. Lastly, this is a Christmas present that I'm so excited about. This has been making me feel so festive and so in this holiday spirit. I'm making a Christmas stocking. And it makes me smile so much. So my sister and I both thought, hey, last minute. No, it wasn't last minute. It was just we're both managing to get to it now. Let's make something together. So she's making one and I'm making one. And I'm not going to lie, there's mistakes in this. And I don't have time to rip them back. But I know who I'm giving it to is going to love it anyway, regardless. So a couple things. This is a Knit Picks pattern. It's called the Hearthwarming Stocking. So this pattern I thought was great because it actually gives you charts, a bunch of different charts for each section, so you can really design your own Christmas stocking. And then it gives you 2 choices for the main part of the body of the stocking. So I chose this motif, and it's coming along beautifully, except for a couple things. So when I made a short row heel. That's not what the pattern calls for, but that's what I did. When I came to start the row again and start the patterning again, I started it on the wrong side. So I forgot to look for my little row marker and started it on the opposite side. So what happened here, now I don't know how this happened, maybe my stitch count got off or something, but you can see there is a doubling up of that part of the pattern. So I don't know what's going to happen there. And then because of my misstart, the place where you put the initial of the person's name is on the back of the sock rather than on the side of it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Yeah, that's kind of funny looking right there, but just make sure that we hang it so this side is showing. I don't have time. I don't have time to turn it back. So it's just going to have to be the way it is, and I think it's going to be just fine. I really still love it despite its little problems. Yeah. So it just makes me, it just feels very country, like that. Oh, just that like farmhouse style country that I just love. Yeah. Oh, now is that it? Oh man, that's it. That's all I have with me in front of me. That's all I have to say. I talk about. I mean, I guess I could show you this. I have a swatch that's lying right there. I have a few minutes left, so why not? This was the start of a sweater that got pulled off when I realized, oh, I don't quite have enough yarn for this. But it's a good example of what the unspun Icelandic yarn, the Plotulopi stuff, looks like when it's knit on single strand. So I knit this on a rather large gauge, actually. I think these are knit on 3.5s. Mind you, okay, I have a very, very loose gauge when I knit. I don't know what it is. It's just the way that I hold things. So I have to knit things on quite tiny needles in order to get a dense gauge. Otherwise, most of my fabrics are pretty gauzy and loose. But I have to admit, there's something about that I very much appreciate. There's something about having nice drape and having things kind of contour. I understand that there's a purpose for densely knit things and that they can be a bit more durable, but I like the loosey-goosey stuff. So, oh, I went over my 15 minutes. Oh well. I will talk to you next time.